So I keep getting the same question from all kinds of people, whether I'm in the store with my Hurricanes gear on or going through YouTube and I'm, looking at the comment section. I keep seeing the same question. I keep being asked the same question, and that is, what's your thoughts on the Pop-Tarts Bowl? What's your thoughts on the Pop-Tarts Bowl, or what's your thoughts on the Hurricanes playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl? I got all kinds of opinions on this. So before we get into it, my name is Jordan Harris. I'm your favorite host in the entire world, and this is Sports Truth. Please do like the video, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate the support. My job is to entertain you. My job is to educate from time to time with a little bit of information that I do have. So if you ever do feel like you're entertained or you feel like you've been educated in any way, in any way possible, the way that you can reward me, the way that you can pay me is by simply clicking subscribe and pushing the thumbs up. I don't need you to send me any money. I'm cool on that. All I want is to grow this channel. So subscriptions help a lot. Thumbs up helps a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. So my thoughts on the Pop-Tarts Bowl. First, the name is horrible. Can we all agree on that? So I'm going to say this. I know how difficult it is to run a business that makes between $3 to $5 million a year. I know how difficult it is to build a company and to run a company that does that. I get it. So a company that does billions of dollars every year, I have to respect them even more because I know how difficult it is to run a small business that does $3 to $5 million a year. So they do billions of dollars. So I got to respect the Pop-Tarts brand just off of that alone, and the Kellogg's brand based on that alone. But when I asked my wife, who knows nothing about football, nothing about college football, nothing about bowl games, when I tell my wife that the Hurricanes are playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl, her first reaction, and I didn't say it in any kind of weird way, I just said, the Hurricanes are playing the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Her first reaction was, the Pop-Tarts Bowl? First reaction. She didn't know if that was, for all she knew, the Pop-Tarts Bowl was the best bowl that you could possibly go to. For all she knew, the Pop-Tarts Bowl is just the name that you call the national championship game. She had no idea. Her first thought was, the Pop-Tarts Bowl? And she even laughed. I was like, yep, Pop-Tarts Bowl. And she was like, so what is that? So then I explained what it was, and she was like, oh, okay. But when she first heard the name, she was like, that sounds like some weak, trash bowl game that I don't know who wants to play in that. That was her initial thought. So I respect Kellogg's. I respect Pop-Tarts brand. But y'all got to change the name to like Kellogg's Bowl or something. Because Pop-Tarts Bowl ain't it. It ain't it. Okay? So that's that. Let's talk about people opting in and opting out. I totally expected all of the star players to sit this game out. I thought it was going to look really similar to what Florida State looked like last bowl game. Obviously, we don't want to repeat what Florida State did because they got trounced, and then it bleeded into next year, and then the next year they just looked miserable all season. So we don't want to do that. And I am a firm believer that the bowl game of this year wraps around and it impacts the first game of next year. I'm a firm believer in that. I always have been, and I have to stick with that. Fully expected everybody to sit this game out. And honestly, if they do decide, or if they had decided to sit this one out, wouldn't blame them at all. I don't really like to speak on stuff unless I have personal experience in things, or I put myself into whomever I'm speaking about into their shoes. So I want to talk about Cam Ward specifically on this. If I was Cam Ward's parents, would I want him to play in this game? Would I allow him to play in this game? I know he's a grown man, but would I allow him to? Like, what would be my thoughts on this? And I just had to think to myself, like, if my kids or if my nephews were Cam Ward and they were considering playing this bowl game, what would I say to them? My first thought was I would tell him, it's important to start what you finished. It is. But I'd also say the risk and reward on this are too great. And y'all have heard me talk about risk and reward all the time. The risk in this is way up through the ceiling. The reward for playing in this game is nearly all the way to the floor. It does nothing for Cam Ward to play in this game, to win this game. Nothing. He's played an outstanding season. He's already projected to be the second, some people project him to be the first quarterback that comes off. So he's probably going to be a top 3 pick. Playing in this game is not going to increase anything. But playing in this game, there's a drastic chance that you could plummet in the draft based on injury or just looking poor. Like, I don't think looking poor would really do anything, but there's such a chance of injuring yourself in this. We saw Mark Fletcher go down in the last bowl game. And when he was playing, I was like, why is he even playing? So, like, if I was his parents or uncle or whatever it may be, I would tell Cam Ward to sit this one out. Just being honest. I'd say, man, you finished what you started, but and we don't want to be selfish in this, but you made an agreement with your teammates that you were going to go all the way through the season. But when you look at this game, what does the team stand to win in this? Winning this game is not going to get you to another step closer to the championship. The season's over. So playing in this game, the team doesn't have anything to gain in it, really. So like, sure, like I said earlier, it impacts the next season. But I just think the risk and the reward are far too spread apart on this one. I think he probably should sit this one out. And honestly, if I was Damian Martinez, I would play in it because he had so many up and down games. I would want to end on a crazy high note. I would play in it to make my stock go up, the potential of making the stock go up, because we saw what our last opponent did running the ball. So I would definitely play if I was Damian Martinez. But Xavier Restrepo, I would sit this one out. Cam Ward, I would sit it out. Anybody who is projected to be drafted in the first couple of rounds already, I would sit it out. It doesn't make sense. Like, that's just my thoughts on that. The next thing is, when it comes to this bowl game, I'm really interested. Like, we talk about how it's going to impact next season. I'm really interested in seeing what Emory Williams is looking like. Because everywhere I go, I'm hearing that he's potentially the front runner, especially with Poffenbarger leaving. He's potentially like penciled in as the starter for next year. And what I saw last year when he's playing, it just wasn't good enough, man. Obviously a whole season passes, so you expect for them to get a whole lot better. But the last time I saw him play, the product that I saw on the field from the last time he was on the field, it does not make me super confident. So I would love to see him play a full game in this bowl game to see what we're looking at. Kind of like what we saw from Jakari last year. When he played in the bowl game, or I should say, just before he opted in to play the bowl game, I was like, I'm really hoping he plays because I don't know who our starter is going to be next year because Cam hadn't committed yet. I was like, I don't know who our starter is going to be. And the last time I saw Jakari Brown, he was overthrowing everything. He was looking at targets who were clearly not open. He was dropping his head after looking at the first option, like the first read, I should say, dropping his head and taking off running. So I wanted to see what Jakari was going to look like because the last time I had seen him, he didn't look like he was going to be a Miami Hurricanes starter. He didn't look good enough for that. Same thing with Emory Williams. The last time we saw him play against Florida State when he snapped his arm, he missed so many, like people were down on Tyler Van Dyke as they should have been. But I didn't think that Emory Williams did much better. He overthrew people who were wide open on slant routes that could have given us first downs, potentially big plays. Missed a lot of open receivers. He had a really slow wind-up delivery that I didn't love. So I would love to see what Emory Williams looks like. I think this would be the perfect opportunity for the coaches, for the fans, for all of that to see like how serious, how aggressive should we be in the transfer portal. If Emory comes out and just looks amazing, then it's like, well, maybe we should pump the brakes on this transfer portal a little bit, because the people that's out there in the transfer portal, nobody has really got me thinking like, they look like world beaters. Like I was thinking about Cam Ward, and like I thought about Ohio State's quarterback. Like I was really high on them. I'm not really high on anybody in the transfer portal right now. And I'm not really high on Emory Williams right now. So the more information we can get, the more football we can see from these folks, the better off we'll be. So hopefully, should I say hopefully? I'll just say, if Emory Williams does play, there's a lot of positives in that. Let's just say that. If Cam Ward doesn't play, there's some positives in that. We get to see a little projection on what next year could look like. Our opponent that we played in this bowl game doesn't move me at all. If we were playing against like Alabama or something like that, I probably would want to see Cam Ward play because I'm like, I do want to beat these fools. Just based off of what happened with the College Football Playoff Committee, I would love to play the Bama Crimson Tide and beat them so we could tell the College Football Playoffs how full of stuff they are. Let's just say that. But yeah, I'm not really. I mean, this bowl game. Will I watch it? Yeah. I'm not going to be glued to the TV though. I'm just going to be honest with you. Will I be disappointed if they lose? Yeah, I'll be disappointed, but I'm not going to be nearly as disappointed as I was when we lost to Georgia Tech this year or last year, or when we lost to Syracuse this year. It's you know what I'm saying. Like it's a bowl game. It doesn't lead to anything. So the Pop-Tarts Bowl, y'all. We in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I probably have some Pop-Tarts in my pantry right now that have been in there forever because we don't really eat those things. But hey, man, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. God bless the Pop-Tarts Bowl. God bless the Hurricanes for being in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. God bless everybody who's trying to pump this up and get excited about watching the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not even going to pretend to be one of those guys. I don't even know what day the game is being played, to be honest with you. When it gets here, I'll find out a couple of days before, and I'll tune in and watch it a little bit, and then I'll be done with that. The Pop-Tarts Bowl, y'all. They need to change the name. Let's just call it the Kellogg's Bowl. Call it the, I don't know, something. Pastry Bowl sounds better than the Pop-Tarts Bowl. It just sounds so elementary and so bad. It almost sounds degrading when you say, we're going to have you play in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Like, what? It just sounds bad. But anyway, that's all that I got for y'all today. Please do like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Gave you my thoughts. What are y'all's thoughts on the bowl game? What's your thoughts on the name of the bowl game? What were your thoughts when you found out that we were in the Pop-Tarts Bowl? Let me know all that stuff. Looking forward to read about it in the comment section. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, and I truly appreciate that. So take care. God bless. Peace.